All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at the general education pattern that the UCs use. So they call this the Igetc, which is short for the Intersegmental General Education Transfer Curriculum. So you can see why we call it Igetc. We don't want to say that every single time we're talking about it. So let's go ahead and jump over to the Transfer Center website. We're going to go to the same place under Transfer Process and General Ed. And then you can see the Igetc. So there's actually two Igetcs. There's one option C, and then there's Igetc for STEM, which can also be used for the biology AST degree. So let's go ahead. We're just going to cover the regular Igetc today. So once again, the GE sheet is updated in the summer. So this is for the 22-23 academic year. And it's quite similar to the CSU General Education. In fact, you can use this if you are applying to a CSU. We will certify you for having the Igetc completed as long as you do a couple things differently. So the Igetc can be used for the CSU, the UC, and we often recommend it for California privates or out-of-state campuses as well, because it's a little bit more strict than the CSU General Ed. Where the CSU General Education, remember anything numbered 1 to 99 is going to transfer to a CSU. But for the UC, it's only 1 to 47. So where like COM 60 is going to be on the CSU GE sheet, it's not going to be on the Igetc. So it's a little bit more strict. So again, it's similar. Here they call them areas, so or they go by numbers, I mean. So the other one was letters, this one's numbers. So area 1 is your English composition. So you need, again, English 1A or ESL 10. You need Comms 9, English 5, and Philosophy 5. This is your second English, okay? So you'll often hear you need 2 Englishes to transfer to a UC. Well, they'll take Philosophy 5 or Comms 9. They have the same amount of writing requirement as the English 5 class, just taught in a different discipline. And then if you're going to a CSU, you'd have to have Comms 1. Then there's your math. Again, math is determined by your major. You have the 9 units in the arts and the humanities, so you need 1 arts, 1 humanities, and the third from either section, okay? Area 4 is also 9 units, and it has that same rule. You're going to do 3 courses from at least 2 disciplines. So again, you're not going to take all 3 classes in psychology. You're going to split it up. You're going to take 2 psych classes and 1 soc class. Area 5 is your physical and biological sciences. So you are going to need 1 physical science, 1 biological science, and 1 class needs to be with a lab, just the same as it was with the CSU. It's the same rule on the 3L versus the Bio 10 with just the asterisk. That indicates that Bio 10 has a lab. And then area 6A is language other than English. We call this LOTE. We're notorious for shortening things and using abbreviations. And this is required only for the Igetc to be certified for the UC. So you may have been told in high school you have to have 2 years of a foreign language to, transfer to a 4-year university. That's only a UC general rule. As we saw when we did the CSU video, Sac State has a foreign language requirement. But again, not every single school in the CSU requires a foreign language, so it just varies by campus. So this can be met in a couple different ways. One is you did that 2 years of coursework in high school. You can complete 1 semester of a foreign language, one of these that's highlighted, and meet the requirement that way. You can have an AP score. You can have an IB score. You can have 2 years of formal schooling at the 6th grade level or higher, where the instruction, the language of instruction was not English. So if you studied outside of the United States and the language of instruction was, say, French, then we can sign off on that. We need a transcript. It does not need to be official. You can also have an assessment done. So you can do that too. So if you don't have a transcript, but you grew up speaking another language, we can assess you. You just have to find somebody at the college that speaks that language that could do that assessment. And then here we have that same CSU graduation requirement. Again, it's not part of the general education sheet. It's just on here for you to know that you could do it here at SRJC. What you'll notice is that for the CSU, that ethnic studies requirement is not on this sheet. So what that would mean is if you are following Igetc and you are applying to, let's say, Sac State and Davis, and you decide to go to Sac State and you didn't do the ethnic studies and we certify you for Igetc, you'll do it there when you get to Sac State. So you could do it as one of your upper division general education classes. Once you get to the four-year university, you're not done with general ed yet. You still have 9 units of upper division general education to complete, okay? So just keep that in mind. So this one is the Igetc, and again, primarily used for the UC, but can be used for the CSU, and again, many California privates as well as out-of-state campuses accept it as well. So hopefully that provides a brief understanding for you, but if you have any questions, just let me know.